Alan Wright stared at the screen, his eyes red from lack of sleep. For weeks, he had been tracking strange energy patterns from deep space. Today, the readings were stronger than ever. "Computer, run analysis again," he said, rubbing his tired eyes. The large monitor in the space monitoring station flickered as numbers and graphs appeared. Alan leaned forward, his heart beating faster. These weren't random signals. They moved together, changed direction together. Like ships. Alan reached for his phone and called his boss. "Director Coleman, I need to speak with you immediately. It's about the deep space readings." 3 hours later, Alan stood in a room filled with serious-faced officials from the United Nations Space Command. He pointed to the large display showing star maps. "As you can see, these energy signatures appear in formation. They move with purpose. This isn't natural space phenomena. These are vessels, large ones." Director Coleman frowned. "You're certain?" "The patterns are unmistakable," Alan replied. "And they've appeared in 7 different star systems in the past month, all moving in our general direction." Admiral Peters, the military representative, leaned forward. "If these are ships, whose are they?" The room fell silent. Humanity had explored nearby star systems, but had never encountered intelligent alien life. Until now, perhaps. The Admiral's aide whispered something, and he nodded. "We're recalling the Stargazer immediately." Alan had heard of the Stargazer, one of Earth's most advanced survey vessels, currently exploring the edge of mapped space under Captain Olivia Harris. If they were bringing her back, things were serious. 2 weeks passed. Alan continued analyzing the signals, which grew stronger daily. Then came the news that changed everything. The Stargazer had returned, and Captain Harris had brought something with her. Alan was summoned to a secure facility beneath Geneva. In a sterile white room, he found Olivia Harris standing beside a table. On it lay what looked like metal fragments with strange symbols etched into them. "Dr. Wright," she said, extending her hand. "Your discovery led us to this." Olivia was tall, with short brown hair and eyes that seemed to evaluate everything. She explained how the Stargazer had detoured to investigate one of the signal sources Alan had identified. "We found debris, a battlefield. Something happened out there, something big." Alan carefully examined the fragments. "These markings, not human," Olivia confirmed, "and not all the same. We found pieces from at least 3 different origins, different materials, different writing systems, multiple species. That's our guess, and based on radiation dating, this battle happened less than a year ago." Admiral Peters entered with several officials Alan didn't recognize. "Tell him what your team translated," Peters said to Olivia. She pointed to one fragment with spiral symbols. "Our linguists managed to crack part of this. It appears to be a warning message, broadcasting on repeat. The closest translation is, 'Flee. The cleansers approach. No negotiation possible.'" Alan felt cold. "And the other pieces? We think they're from the attackers. The material is unlike anything we've seen, and extremely advanced." Alan connected the dots. "The signals I've been tracking. That's them. These cleansers." Admiral Peters nodded grimly. "We believe so, and they seem to be systematic. Dr. Wright's data shows they've moved from system to system, following a pattern. A hunting pattern," Olivia added quietly. Alan studied the star chart showing the progression of signals. If they maintain their current course. He didn't need to finish. Everyone in the room could see where the pattern led. "Earth. How much time do we have?" someone asked. Alan studied his calculations. Based on their current speed and trajectory, 8 months. Maybe less. Admiral Peters straightened his uniform. "Then we have work to do. As of today, humanity is on a war footing. Dr. Wright, Captain Harris, you'll lead our analysis team. We need to know everything about these aliens, their technology, their weaknesses." Alan looked at Olivia, who nodded slightly. "The United Nations Security Council votes tonight on implementing the Sword Protocol. Peters continued. God help us all. Jack Lowry stood before the gathered military leaders, his face showing no emotion despite the weight of his proposal. We need to know what we're facing, he said. I'm suggesting a stealth mission to infiltrate what appears to be one of their outposts. The room erupted in objections. Admiral Peters raised his hand for silence. Commander Lowry, you're suggesting we send people into an alien base. How would that even be possible? Jack pointed to the screen behind him, showing a small asteroid near the edge of the solar system. Our long-range scans detected unusual activity here 3 days ago. It appears they've established some kind of forward observation post. Small, probably minimally staffed. Dr. Wright spoke up. The energy signature matches what I've been tracking. It's them. And you believe we can get people in there? Admiral Peters asked. Jack nodded. The science division has been developing stealth technology that bends light around objects. It's not perfect, but it might get us close enough. If they discover us, it could trigger an immediate attack, someone objected. If we don't learn more about them, we're fighting blind. Jack countered. We need to know their capabilities, their plans. 3 days later, Jack stood in the hangar bay of Earth's orbital station, looking at the small stealth craft that would carry his team. Dr. Samantha Kelly approached, her steps echoing on the metal floor. Commander Lowry, the translation algorithms are loaded and ready, she said. San was the best linguist in the space program, fluent in 17 Earth languages, and now tasked with understanding alien ones. Good. Is Martinez ready? As if on cue, Ben Martinez appeared, carrying equipment cases. Surveillance gear is prepped. If it uses energy, I can hack it. The 3 of them, plus 2 security specialists, launched 12 hours later. Their ship, painted with light-absorbing material, approached the asteroid silently. Through the viewport, they could see structures built into the rock. Definitely artificial, and definitely not human. Radiation levels normal. No signs they've detected us, Martins whispered, though there was no need for quiet in space. They docked at a maintenance airlock Martinez had identified. Using tools designed based on the fragments from the Stargazer, they managed to override the lock. Inside, the air was breathable, but had a strange sweetness to it. Stay in your suits, Jack ordered. We don't know what might be in this atmosphere. They moved through narrow corridors, hiding whenever they detected movement. The aliens were tall, with 4 arms and skin that seemed to shift colors. Martinez planted tiny cameras and listening devices along the way. In what appeared to be a control room, they struck gold. While Sam worked to decipher the alien writing on screens, Martinez hacked into their data systems. I'm in, he said after 20 tense minutes. Downloading everything. Sam gasped suddenly. Commander, I've figured out enough to understand this display. They call it the cleansing protocol. Jack moved beside her. What is it? A systematic plan to eliminate what they call potential threats, species that might someday challenge them. She pointed to symbols scrolling across the screen. This is a list. Planets, civilizations, and Earth is on it. Martinez called from across the room. I've got their communications. They're reporting back to a much larger force. The main fleet. They're discussing the best approach to cleanse our system. An alarm suddenly blared. Red lights flashed throughout the facility. They've detected our intrusion. Martinez shouted, frantically disconnecting his equipment. Everyone move. Back to the ship, Jack ordered. They ran through corridors now filled with alarmed aliens. The security specialists fired weapons, creating a path. As they neared the airlock, sensors detected more aliens approaching from another direction. We'll be cut off, Sam said, fear in her voice. Martinez looked at the data drive in his hand, then at Jack. Get this back to Earth. I'll create a diversion. Before Jack could object, Martinez ran down a side corridor, firing his weapon and drawing the aliens after him. Ben, Sam cried out. "We have to go," Jack said, pulling her toward the airlock. His sacrifice won't be wasted. They reached their ship and detached just as explosions rocked the asteroid base. Martinez had made sure the aliens couldn't pursue. As they sped back toward Earth, Sam began analyzing the stolen data. "Commander," she said softly, "they're coming. All of them. And they think we'll be easy to destroy." Admiral William Grant stood in the control center deep beneath the Rocky Mountains. Screens around him showed military bases across the world springing into action. His voice was firm as he spoke the words that activated humanity's last resort defense plan. Authorization Grant 749. Activate Sword Protocol. A computerized voice responded. Sword Protocol activated. Lunar facilities coming online. On screens around the room, hidden doors opened on the far side of the moon. What appeared to be simple mining operations transformed as massive hangar doors slid apart, revealing row after row of warships. For 50 years, Earth had been secretly building this fleet, preparing for a threat that many hoped would never come. "How many ships are ready?" Grant asked his aide. 87% of the fleet is fully operational, sir. The rest can be ready within 3 weeks. Grant nodded. "Begin crew deployment immediately." Across Earth, military personnel received sealed orders. Pilots, engineers, and soldiers who had trained for years without knowing their true purpose were now told the truth. They would be humanity's defenders against an alien threat. In Washington, the United Nations Security Council voted unanimously to place all Earth's military forces under a single command structure. Old enemies became allies in the face of extinction. At a research facility in Nevada, Dr. Nicole Winters led Admiral Grant through a heavily guarded laboratory. The petite scientist had dark circles under her eyes from working nonstop since the alien threat was discovered. "The regular weapons on our ships won't be enough," she explained. "But I think we've developed something that will work." She gestured to a device in the center of the room. It looked simple, just a metal cylinder with glowing blue lines. "We've been studying quantum entanglement for decades," she said. "This weapon creates a field that disrupts the specific subatomic bonds in the alien ship materials we recovered." "In simple English, Doctor," Grant requested. Nicole smiled slightly. "It makes their ships fall apart." The energy readings from Commander Lowry's mission showed their shields operate on principles we understand. "They won't stop this." "How many can you make?" "We've already adapted the automated factories. Production started yesterday. We'll have enough for the entire fleet within a month." Grant studied the weapon. "Will it work on their larger ships?" "Theory says yes, but we've never tested it on anything that big." Grant's phone beeped. A message appeared. "Coalition ships advancing. Estimate arrival 6 weeks." He showed the screen to Nicole. "Looks like we'll be testing your theory soon enough." Meanwhile, in orbit, Captain Olivia Harris supervised the retrofitting of Earth's existing space vessels. Engineers worked around the clock, installing new shields and weapons. "Captain," called her second in command, "you should see this." He handed her a tablet showing intercepted communications from the alien coalition. She read it, her expression changing from concern to slight amusement. "They think we're practically defenseless," she said. "Their intelligence shows we have only a small number of lightly armed ships. They don't know about the lunar fleet." "No. And they underestimate our weapons technology dramatically." Olivia handed back the tablet. "Their overconfidence gives us an advantage." Across Earth, cities transformed. Civilian populations were moved into massive underground shelters built during the Cold War and expanded over decades. Above ground, military installations that had been hidden were now revealed and activated. In a mountain bunker, Jack Lowry and Samantha Kelly continued analyzing the data stolen from the alien outpost. "They call themselves the Coalition of Purity," Sam explained to the military leaders. "They believe it's their duty to prevent any species from becoming powerful enough to threaten them." "How many worlds have they destroyed?" someone asked. At least 17 that we can confirm, Jack replied grimly. They follow the same pattern each time. Quick strikes against military targets, then systematic elimination of population centers. Admiral Grant's face hardened. That won't happen here. For the first time, they'd found a prey that's ready to fight back. Outside, the first units of Earth's United Defense Force marched toward waiting transport ships. On the moon, the hidden fleet powered up its engines. Humanity was preparing for war. Lieutenant Commander Daniel Shaw looked out from the observation deck of the orbital station. Earth looked peaceful from up here. Blue oceans, swirling white clouds. No one watching from space would guess that below, a massive military operation was underway. "Are you ready for the briefing, sir?" his aide asked. Daniel nodded. "Let's go." In the conference room, he faced 24 officers from different countries, all now wearing the same unified Earth Defense Force uniform. "Operation False Front begins today," Daniel said, activating the display screen. "Our mission is simple but critical. We need to make Earth look vulnerable." He displayed images of outdated defense satellites and older military bases. "Intelligence suggests the coalition will send scout ships ahead of their main fleet. We want those scouts to see exactly what we want them to see." A Russian general raised his hand. "And what is that, exactly?" "A disorganized planet with limited space defenses and outdated weapons," Daniel replied. "We'll allow them to detect our older systems while keeping our real capabilities hidden." The plan was detailed. Decoy defense satellites would broadcast on frequencies the aliens could intercept. Real weapons platforms would remain in stealth mode. Military bases were disguised to appear less advanced than they were. Underground hangar doors were covered with realistic-looking forests and fields, digital camouflage that would fool orbital scans. "What about civilian populations?" asked a Chinese officer. "Evacuation to the underground shelters continues," Daniel explained. "But we're projecting holographic images of city activity to make it appear that life continues normally." 3 days later, Daniel stood in the control room of a seemingly abandoned missile silo in Kansas. The missiles had been removed years ago, but now the facility housed something much more valuable, a powerful sensor array disguised as obsolete equipment. "Contact," reported a technician suddenly. "Unidentified object entering lunar orbit." On the main screen, they watched as a small alien vessel appeared. It maneuvered carefully, staying just beyond where normal Earth defenses could reach. "They're scanning us," another technician called out. Daniel smiled slightly. "Let them see what we want them to see." The alien scout ship spent 2 days orbiting Earth, scanning military installations and defense systems. It focused on the visible weapons platforms and openly broadcast defense networks. The real Earth defenses, hidden beneath the surface or disguised as civilian structures, remained undetected. In his underground command center, Admiral Grant received Daniel's report. "The scout ship is leaving orbit, sir. Based on its transmission patterns, it's sending a full report back to the main coalition fleet." "And what will that report say, Commander?" Grant asked. "That Earth has minimal orbital defenses, outdated weapons technology, and no significant space fleet. Our ground-based defenses appear substantial but antiquated." Grant nodded with satisfaction. "Excellent. Let them think we're easy prey." In cities around the world, the last civilians moved into underground shelters. Above ground, sophisticated holographic systems projected images of people going about their daily lives. Parks appeared full of families, streets showed traffic, and lights came on in buildings at night, all illusions. At a remote mountain base, Dr. Nicole Winters supervised the final loading of her quantum disruption weapons onto transport ships. "The last batch is complete," she told Admiral Grant over the secure line. "Every ship in the fleet is now equipped." "Good work, Doctor. You've given humanity a fighting chance." On the dark side of the moon, the hidden fleet remained powered down, waiting. Captain Olivia Harris walked through the bridge of her flagship, checking systems. The crew worked in near silence, communicating mostly through hand signals and text messages to avoid generating detectable signals. A week passed. Then the sensors detected it, a massive fleet of coalition warships entering the outer solar system. Dozens of vessels, far larger than the scout ship, moved in tight formation toward Earth. Daniel Shaw watched from his control center as the alien armada approached. "They're following the exact course we predicted," he said to his team. "They believe we're defenseless." He activated his communication link to Admiral Grant. "Sir, the trap is set. The coalition fleet has taken the bait." "Understood," came Grant's reply. "All units maintain stealth protocols. Let them come closer." Daniel looked at the tactical display, showing the approaching alien ships. They have no idea what they're flying into. Olivia Harris stood in Admiral Grant's office, her back straight and her eyes determined. "I should be the one to deliver the message," she said firmly. "My ship is the fastest in the fleet, and I know more about their communication systems than anyone else." Grant looked doubtful. "You're suggesting we send a single Earth vessel to face their entire fleet?" "Yes, sir. Under a flag of truce. Before we attack, we give them one chance to leave. It's the right thing to do." After a moment, Grant nodded. "Very well, Captain. But you'll take the Valiant, not your flagship. It's smaller and faster." 2 hours later, Olivia sat in the command chair of the Valiant as it detached from its hidden dock. The small vessel, barely a fifth the size of her usual command, accelerated rapidly away from the moon's dark side. "Coming up on visual range of the coalition fleet," reported her pilot. On the main screen, the alien armada appeared. Dozens of warships arranged in a formation resembling an arrowhead. At the center was a massive vessel that dwarfed all others, the flagship. "Open a channel on all frequencies," Olivia ordered. "Include the translation matrix Dr. Kelly provided." Her communications officer nodded. "Channel open, Captain." Olivia stood. Her voice was calm and clear as she spoke. "Attention Coalition Fleet. This is Captain Olivia Harris of Earth. I approach under a flag of truce to deliver a message from my world." For a long moment, there was no response. Then the screen flickered, showing an alien figure. It had 4 arms and skin that shifted colors like flowing water. Its eyes were large and completely black. "I am Supreme Commander Vrock of the Coalition. Your primitive vessel is no threat to us. Speak your message and then prepare for cleansing." Olivia didn't flinch at the coldness in the alien's voice. "My message is simple. Earth knows of your intentions. We know of the worlds you have destroyed. We are here to inform you that Earth will not be one of them." The alien made a sound that might have been laughter. "Your species is young and weak. Our scans show your defenses are inadequate. Surrender now, and we will make your cleansing quick." "That's where you're wrong," Olivia replied. "What you've seen is not what we have. This is humanity's first and final warning. Leave our system now, or face destruction." The alien commander's skin darkened with what might have been anger or amusement. "You dare to threaten the Coalition? With what? Our scouts detected your pitiful weapons. Your primitive ships. You have nothing that can harm us." Olivia smiled slightly. "Are you certain of that?" She nodded to her officer, who pressed a sequence of commands. On Earth and the Moon, powerful transmitters activated simultaneously. A quantum beacon, designed by Dr. Wright, suddenly revealed what had been hidden. Around the Moon, hundreds of warships shimmered into visibility as their stealth systems deactivated. On Earth, the holographic disguises fell away, showing massive defense installations. And in orbit, previously invisible weapons platforms appeared. Olivia watched as the alien commander's skin paled to a sickly gray. "This is impossible," Vrock said. "Our scouts saw exactly what we wanted them to see," Olivia finished. "You came expecting an easy victory. Instead, you face a prepared opponent." The alien's secondary arms moved in what might have been a gesture of alarm. "You have 1 hour to begin withdrawal from our system," Olivia continued. "After that, We will consider your presence an act of war and respond accordingly. You cannot defeat the coalition." Vrock insisted, but doubt had crept into his voice. "We have cleansed 17 worlds. Yours will be the 18th. "No," Olivia replied. "We will be the first to fight back successfully. And believe me, Commander, we are ready to fight." She nodded again, and her ship's sensors detected hundreds more Earth vessels appearing from hidden positions throughout the solar system. The Coalition fleet was now completely surrounded. "1 hour," Olivia repeated. "The choice is yours." As the Valiant turned to withdraw to a safe distance, Olivia looked at the tactical display. The Coalition ships were adjusting formation, clearly alarmed by Earth's sudden show of force. "Do you think they'll leave?" her first officer asked quietly. Olivia shook her head. "No, they've never retreated before. Their pride won't let them. But now they know this won't be the easy victory they expected." She watched as the Coalition flagship began moving, not away from Earth, but toward it. "Alert Admiral Grant," she ordered. "The Coalition has made their choice." Admiral Grant stood at the command center, watching the large screen as the Coalition fleet moved closer to Earth. The alien ships had rearranged into an attack formation after Captain Harris delivered humanity's warning. "The hour is up," Grant announced. "They've made their choice." He took a deep breath and pressed the communication button. "All ships, this is Admiral Grant. You are cleared to engage. I repeat, you are cleared to engage." Across the solar system, Earth's hidden fleet powered up their weapons. The ships that had remained invisible until now activated their engines, moving into position. On the lead battleship Defender Lieutenant Kate Foster climbed into her fighter craft. Around her, dozens of other pilots did the same. Kate was the leader of Wolf Squadron, the best fighter pilots Earth had. "Wolf Squadron, report in," she called as her engines powered up. One by one, the 12 pilots in her squadron confirmed they were ready. Kate's hands were steady on the controls as the launch countdown began. "Remember the plan," she told her pilots. "Target their command ships first. Use the quantum disruptors only when you have a clear shot." The bay doors opened, and Kate felt the familiar push as her fighter launched into space. Behind her, the rest of Wolf Squadron followed in perfect formation. Ahead, the Coalition fleet had begun firing. Their energy weapons flashed across space, aimed at Earth's larger ships. But something unexpected happened. The shields on the human vessels flickered with a strange blue light, absorbing the alien attacks without damage. "Dr. Winter's defense systems are working," someone shouted over the comm. Kate led her squadron toward the nearest Coalition command vessel, a ship that directed dozens of smaller craft. The alien fighters moved to intercept them, firing weapons that left glowing trails in the vacuum. "Evasive maneuvers," Kate ordered. Her fighter rolled sideways, avoiding the energy blast. The human ships were smaller and more agile than their alien counterparts, dancing through the enemy formation. One of the Coalition's massive cruisers turned its main weapon toward Earth. Before it could fire, 3 human battleships surrounded it, activating their quantum disruptors. The alien vessel's hull began to shimmer and then crack, pieces floating away as the molecular bonds in its structure failed. "Wolf 3, you've got one on your tail," Kate called, seeing one of her pilots in trouble. "I can't shake him," came the panicked reply. Kate spun her fighter around and dove toward the enemy craft. Her targeting system locked on, and she fired. The quantum disruptor hit the alien ship directly. Instead of exploding, it simply came apart, dissolving into countless pieces. Across the battlefield, the same scene played out dozens of times. The Coalition ships, finding their shields useless against the human weapons, began to retreat. "They're trying to regroup," Kate observed, watching the alien fleet's movements. Admiral Grant's voice came over the general channel. "Don't let them establish a defensive formation. All ships, press the attack." Earth's fleet moved forward in a coordinated assault. The larger battleships targeted the coalition cruisers while fighter squadrons like Kate's went after the smaller vessels. The alien ships, caught by surprise, couldn't organize an effective defense. On the coalition flagship, Supreme Commander Vrak watched in disbelief as his fleet was decimated. "Impossible," he whispered, his skin pale with shock. "Their weapons, how can they?" "Commander, we must retreat," urged his second-in-command. "We've lost nearly half our ships already." Vrak hesitated, then gave the order. "All vessels, fall back. Retreat to Rally Point Omega." The remaining coalition ships began to disengage, trying to move away from Earth's relentless attack. Kate's squadron pursued a group of enemy fighters attempting to protect the retreating command ships. "Don't let them escape," she told her pilots. "They need to take our message back to their leaders." Several coalition ships managed to activate their faster-than-light drives, disappearing into the darkness of space. Others weren't so lucky, caught by Earth's weapons before they could retreat. As the battle wound down, Admiral Grant received reports from across the solar system. Earth had suffered losses, but nothing compared to the coalition fleet. More than 2/3 of the alien ships had been destroyed or disabled. "They're running," Kate reported as she watched a last coalition cruiser disappear. "Should we pursue?" "Negative," Grant replied. "Let some of them go. We want them to tell others what happened here." He looked at the tactical display, showing the retreating alien vessels. They came expecting an easy victory. Instead, they'll carry news of their greatest defeat. Admiral Grant stood on the bridge of the flagship Defender *, watching stars streak by as the ship traveled faster than light. Behind him, a fleet of Earth's most powerful warships followed in formation. 3 weeks had passed since the coalition's attack on Earth, and humanity was now on the offensive. "Report from the forward scouts, Admiral," said his communications officer. "Another coalition outpost detected in the Proxima system." Grant nodded. "Add it to the list. We'll deal with it after we finish at Taw City." Dr. Alan Wright entered the bridge, carrying a tablet. Since the battle for Earth, he had been working nonstop, analyzing the data captured from coalition ships. "Admiral, I finished decoding their main database," he said, excitement in his voice. "It contains the locations of at least 27 species they've subjugated. Some are completely conquered, but others might still have resistance movements." Grant studied the star map Alan displayed. "Any of them close enough to reach? 3 systems within a week's journey at our current speed. This one," Alan pointed to a green star, "shows signs of ongoing conflict. The coalition hasn't fully established control yet." Grant made his decision quickly. "Send the coordinates to navigation. We'll head there after securing Taw City." Meanwhile, on a distant world called Ilara by its inhabitants, Captain Olivia Harris stepped out of her ship onto alien soil. The local beings were tall and slender with iridescent skin that reminded her of dragonfly wings. They watched cautiously as she approached their leaders. Olivia had been appointed Earth's ambassador to potential allies. She carried with her videos of the coalition's defeat at Earth, proof that the oppressors could be beaten. "We come as friends," she said, the translation device at her throat converting her words into musical tones the Ilarans could understand. "We have fought the coalition and won. We offer you the same chance for freedom." The Ilaran leader, a being named Threll, seemed skeptical. "Many have promised help before. None have succeeded against the cleansers." Olivia activated a holographic projector, showing the Battle of Earth. The Ilarans watched in stunned silence as coalition ships fell apart under quantum disruptor attacks. "This is real," she assured them, "and we're willing to share our technology with those who join us." 3 days of negotiations followed. When Olivia returned to her ship, she had secured Earth's first interstellar alliance. As word spread of Earth's victory, other subjugated species began reaching out. Some had been fighting the coalition for generations. Others had been conquered centuries ago, but maintained secret resistance movements. On his ship returning from a successful mission, Lieutenant Commander Jack Lowry received a transmission from Admiral Grant. "We're forming something new, Commander," Grant explained. "A stellar alliance. Mutual defense between free worlds. I need you to head the intelligence division." Jack thought of Ben Martinez, who had sacrificed himself to get the information that saved Earth. "I accept, Admiral. What's our first priority?" "Coalition leadership," Grant replied. "They've gone into hiding since their defeat at Earth. Find them." As Earth ships spread throughout nearby star systems, they found more evidence of the Coalition's cruelty. Entire civilizations had been reduced to slavery or worse. With each liberation, the Stellar Alliance grew stronger. Dr. Nickel Winters established research centers on multiple worlds, teaching other species how to create quantum disruptors and other advanced weapons. "Technology sharing is our strength," she explained to a group of scientists from 5 different planets. "Together, we can develop defenses the Coalition can't overcome." Reports began arriving of Coalition worlds in turmoil. The news of their defeat had spread, sparking rebellions among species long thought thoroughly conquered. The myth of Coalition invincibility had been shattered. 6 months after the Battle of Earth, Admiral Grant stood before the first formal gathering of the Stellar Alliance Council. Representatives from 14 species had assembled on a neutral space station. "The galaxy is changing," he told them. "For too long, the Coalition has ruled through fear. They believed their superiority was absolute. Earth proved them wrong." He looked around at the diverse beings, each with their own history, culture, and unique abilities. "Together, we are stronger than any one species could be alone." The Coalition sought to keep us divided and weak. Instead, they united us. On the main screen, reports showed Coalition forces in retreat across multiple sectors. Internal conflicts had weakened their once mighty empire as subject species rose up against their masters. Olivia Harris, now formally recognized as Earth's ambassador to the Alliance, addressed the Council. 5 years had passed since Earth's historic victory against the Coalition. The Stellar Alliance now included 32 species across 87 star systems. What had begun as a desperate defense of a single planet had grown into a movement that transformed the galaxy. Jack Lowry, now Admiral Lowry, walked through the halls of the Alliance headquarters station. The massive ring-shaped structure orbited a neutral star, symbolizing the unity of diverse species. Beings of all shapes and sizes moved through the corridors, some floating, some crawling, some walking on various numbers of legs. "Admiral, the Council is ready," said his assistant, a young officer from Earth named Ryan Collins. Jack nodded and entered the Grand Chamber where representatives from all Alliance worlds gathered. At the center table sat the Leadership Council, 5 beings chosen for their wisdom and experience. Captain Olivia Harris, now Ambassador Harris, represented humanity. "The final Coalition stronghold has fallen," Jack announced, activating the holographic display. "Their leadership has surrendered unconditionally." Murmurs spread through the chamber, some of joy, others of disbelief. Many species had suffered under Coalition rule for thousands of years. Freedom was still a new concept for them. Ambassador Harris stood. "This victory belongs to all of us. But our work isn't finished. Now we must build something better than what came before." Jack agreed. The Coalition had ruled through fear and destruction. The Alliance needed to offer something more. Later that day, Jack met with Dr. Alan Wright in the science wing. Alan's hair had turned completely gray, but his eyes still shone with the same curiosity that had first detected the Coalition ships approaching Earth. "I've been studying their history," Alan said, showing Jack ancient records recovered from Coalition archives. "They weren't always conquerors. 10,000 years ago, their homeworld was nearly destroyed by another aggressive species. They became what they feared most." Jack considered this. "Are you suggesting we should show mercy?" "I'm suggesting we should be careful not to repeat their mistakes," Alan replied. "Victory can change a civilization, sometimes not for the better." The next morning, Jack visited the detention center where the Coalition Supreme Council was held. 5 beings sat in a comfortable but secure room. Their leader, Supreme Commander Vrock, looked smaller somehow, his color-shifting skin now dull and gray. "You've come to announce our execution?" Vrock asked when Jack entered. "No," Jack replied. "I've come to listen." Vrock seemed surprised. "Listen? To what?" "To how this all began. To why your people chose domination instead of cooperation. To what you fear most." For hours, Jack listened as Vrock spoke of his civilization's history. Their near extinction, their vow to never be vulnerable again, their gradual transformation from defenders to conquerors. "We believed we were bringing order to chaos," Vrock said finally. "We were wrong." Later that week, the Alliance Council debated the fate of the coalition species. Some called for punishment, others for rehabilitation. Ambassador Harris proposed a third option. Integration, she suggested, not as conquerors, not as conquered, but as equals. With safeguards, of course. The debate lasted for days. Jack found himself remembering Earth's history, how former enemies had become allies, how lasting peace came not from punishment, but from building something new together. When the Council finally voted, the decision was narrow but clear. The coalition worlds would be offered membership in the Alliance, under probationary terms. 1 year later, Jack stood on the observation deck of the headquarters station. Below, representatives from the former coalition were being welcomed into the Alliance chamber for the first time. Dr. Nicole Winters joined him, her quantum disruption technology now adapted for peaceful uses across the galaxy. "Did you ever imagine this outcome when you infiltrated that first outpost?" she asked. Jack smiled slightly. "Never. I just wanted to save Earth." "And instead, you helped save the galaxy," Nicole replied. Together, they watched as former enemies sat down as potential friends. The stars beyond the viewport seemed brighter somehow, as if the galaxy itself approved of this new beginning. "Humanity's warning worked," Jack said quietly. "We were ready to strike. But in the end, we were also ready to forgive."